My good friend, George Melendez, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Doug. I'm great. I'm here in Mexico City, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. I haven't
Yo!
spoken to you in a while.
My good friend, George Melendez, how are you today? Sorry, I gotta kill that on YouTube. It came up double twice. So I know it's interesting now that Facebook is kind of, it's been weird with Zoom. We've got YouTube as the backup. So still trying to iron out those bugs here. So tell me what's cooking. You're wearing a Bruins hat, right? And a Bruins
Yes,
shirt.
I
I've,
am.
I've got the, I've
Yeah,
still
when I
support.
saw you and this morning when we connected the first time, and I saw you with the shirt, I was bleeding because I'm a diehard Bruins. You know, of Boston, I only like two of the teams, which is the Bruins and the Celtics. In
Yeah.
football, I'm a Viking fan, and in baseball, I'm a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I'm a mixed bag of fanship. But when I saw you, that I was, last year I was just heartbroken with the Blues beating us. So, and losing in Boston. One thing is losing in St. Louis, but losing the seventh game in Boston is like when we beat Vancouver in 2011, because
Yeah.
that's what made me put on my shirt again. I said, wait a minute. He can't be boasting only his blue stuff. I got to boast my Bruin stuff.
I know. It's like,
So good. The reason why I wanted to talk to you is because obviously I had the opportunity of meeting you last year in a great training with Randy Gage, who's one of our mentors and someone that a lot of people should follow just because he had so much value in terms of mindset, abundance, so many things he brings to the table. So, and obviously last year we were talking about how voice is where we're headed to, and I totally agree with that. And since we left the training last year, I've always wanted to talk to you more in depth about all this. And now one of the suggestions Randy gave me was to just have a simple website for 2 years. Don't look to monetize anything. If you have
yeah,
products, sell them individually to your clients and people. Give yourself 2 years just to build up. Then after that, start
yeah,
going for it. So I'm about to get on my 2 year anniversary of my simple website, and I'm going to really redesign it. And obviously, one of the aspects I really want to have into consideration is voice. The question here, where I really want some guidance and some orientation, is someone like me. Let's say I've been on social media for 10 years. I have around, if you add up all my social media, I have around 30,000 followers
yeah. It's
on
good.
Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're
I've
working
been
hard.
writing a daily blog from my own website. So I just use the social media platforms to expose it. We know that algorithms don't want you to do that if you don't pay to do it. But someone who's really starting off like me, where would you tell them to look at or bring in voice to where they're going on their first steps and really monetizing their website?
Yeah. Okay. So, just a kind of a quick note. And thank you, George. This is gonna be a fun conversation. Is that when we're looking at, voice is kind of new for a lot of folks, and a lot of customers aren't even ready for it yet. So, I would put a huge emphasis right now on your website and get the brand up and running first, and then start to explore voice, right? Because I think, if you start to build on top of a broken foundation, then you're not going to have the long-term success that you want, right? You might have this cool thing and you might be differentiated in the market, but really when it comes down to generating leads and getting your expertise out in a way that's unique to you, you really got to have the fundamental down. And so, interestingly enough, I'm not in Mexico City. I'm in Corona del Mar, California today. And what's on my way here, and I was attending Lisa Jimenez Mindset Reset Retreat. On my way here, I was like, you know what? I need to get my website up and running. I need to totally redo it. I've kind of neglected it for, gosh, probably 4 years. I wasn't writing blog posts. I'm a writer. I wrote screen to screen selling. I've got blog posts that date back to like 2008. And so I needed to get my own house in order if I'm going to kind of relaunch screen to screen selling or relaunch voice in a way that is powerful, right? And meaningful. And so if you want, what I can do is kind of share with you in a quick journey how I was able to redo my entire website, very low cost, very quickly, and not really not break the bank, right? I think I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Wow, that sounds amazing. First of all, I love Corona del Mar. I worked in Corona del Mar for close to 3 years doing trainings there in
Oh, cool.
early 2000s. So I love Corona del Mar. My sister-in-law, when my brother-in-law was stationed, obviously he's in the Navy, he was stationed near San Diego and Orange County. So we would go around that area a lot for over 3 years ago. So that area is beautiful. I love it. It's
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful sites, just to hang out and to really let go. It's beautiful. So you must have enjoyed it while you were there also.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So what I'm gonna do here, is if is it okay with you, I go into screen share?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So I'm
Absolutely.
just gonna kind of like take you and navigate through like a conversation that you would have not just with yourself, but other people who might be on your team, right?
Yeah.
And so, when I look at this, it's a real good start. It looks like it's just a kind of a basic web page with links to other pages, right? And
Yep.
so one of the things that you might want to consider doing, and something that's relatively easy to do, is to create a WordPress site or WordPress blog. And so what that means is yeah, you're going to have to learn some of the functionality underneath it, right? So just like you're going to learn how to use Microsoft Word or how to use Microsoft PowerPoint for the first time, there's a little bit of a learning curve. And there are countless resources, right? WordPress has been around for, gosh, I've been using it since 2008. So there's video upon video on how to do specific things. So what I'm going to kind of do is kind of like take you on from like the high level side of it all the way down to like what you would either do yourself or be able to delegate to someone else, right?
Okay.
Because if you don't know what to do, you won't be able to delegate it. And what ended up happening is you'll spend thousands of dollars and months and not get anywhere closer to the goal. So I'm just going to log into my WordPress account right here. If I can do the math right. And kind of walk you on this little journey. So if I go here to DougDeVitry.com, this is what my website looks like. And really, I gave this whole thing a brand refresh in a matter of a week. Right now, I had some of the pages already created. I had a lot of the posts that had just been in there, but I had to get it a whole new face. And so the way that works inside of WordPress is, if I go here, is on the left-hand side. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see. You have what are called themes, right?
Yeah.
So like a PowerPoint present template, you have a Microsoft Word, or a WordPress theme. And so this is the theme that I'm using right now. It's called Vlog Child. And really, like, how I found this is I typed in best WordPress themes 2020, and I think I might have put in author or speaker, right? And then so you'll see, and I put 2020 in here for a reason, because there's some that are updated. Now when you go to one of these websites, you're going to end up seeing like a lot of the same ones across, because they get like a little commission every time somebody kind of buys through this. But when you start to look at one of these, like Divi is a really popular one, and then you just click on here where it says demo, so you can demo to see what this looks like. This is what your website would look like, right? So you can see where this is a video that popped in, and chances are it probably pulls from a YouTube video that you already have created. You'd be able to kind of create this text in here, and so forth. So any of these features, like these icons, you do already have access to. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just kind of use what they already have, and it's significant. I mean, like, I don't know, I probably paid less than $100 for an entire template, whereas you would typically spend thousands and thousands to have somebody, design custom. And I think this is a great place to start out before you start to get into e-commerce, or you start to get into, membership, which you can do within this. And you can also do e-commerce inside of WordPress, but start where you are, right? It's like when you run a marathon, you don't think about mile 25. You start thinking about mile number 1 first, right? So that's the way you kind of like would have to approach this. So I ended up buying one of these themes, and then I had it uploaded into WordPress, and then I just was able to go in here and customize it, right? So if I kind of look in here where I'm customizing, I can change, I can change the site identity, how it shows up here in the top, the tagline that's kind of like the SEO metadata. This thing is called a favicon. This is when I visit the website. It's a little icon that pops up on the top left-hand page, top left side of the page. So this is where you just would go in and start to customize this thing based upon what your brand already looks like, right? So you're gonna need logos, you're gonna need images, you're gonna need all sorts of things. So I'm gonna jump out of here.
Okay.
But no, you're gonna want to optimize this theme. And so really, when you optimize the theme, you're gonna really click on everything, right? Like, what does this menu do? What does this menu do? And then try to see, is this something that I understand? If not, I'll come back to it later. If this is something I understand, great. I'm gonna use it, right? I already know I have the logo. I'm gonna go ahead and put the logo in. Oh, I already know what my website title is gonna be. I'm gonna type it in. So then you can start to get in some other advanced features with this thing. And so you said you're a writer.
Well, yes, I'm a coach and I'm a consultant. That's pretty much what I sell. But now I'm developing what it is working. I'm writing my second book. I wrote a book.
Yeah.
Pretty much it was a rant, personal perspective book 10 years ago about how to unlearn the things that we need to unlearn in order to grow.
Yeah.
And now I'm really writing a book, as I have a mentor and really getting on the big side of what is writing and what it is writing.
Yeah.
With a purpose, with a content, with a really set book. So I think that once I get my book out, is also going to I'm writing it in English and translating into Spanish. So that's going to give me an opportunity to reach a whole different, market, even though I've worked in the United States for many years, but I'm pretty much more well-known in Latin America, where I've worked vastly over the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah, cool. So what you're selling your coaching. Is that right?
I sell coaching.
Yep.
I'm selling products and services based on coaching. Like example, I did for the end of last year, I said I sold a program of how you could design your next decade, which was an online module educational system where you had 5 modules that you did at your own time, space. I also have a mastermind group. So all of that is product, services, coaching, and consulting. That's what I want to convert on.
Cool.
And book sales eventually. And speeches, books and speeches. Those are services, I imagine.
Cool.
Yep.
So you've probably seen, or you've heard of this in different ways, but I
also have a podcast.
Oh yeah, cool.
I stopped it, but I have a blog, a podcast, and a YouTube channel.
Cool. So this is like your primary hub is going to be your blog, right? That's where you're going to drive most of your traffic to. That then is going to promote sign up for email. It's where people can buy or learn more about your coaching. It's where people can buy or learn more about your products, where can buy and learn more about the services you offer, and then buy your books, and then also hire you to speak, right?
Yep.
So each one of these kind of like, if you call these like these individual pages, each one of these pages is kind of set up for conversion. So like, if you're going to say, okay, what's the priority? Like, where do I start? I would start here on the conversion side of things, and to where it makes sense, not just for you, but with your peer group, whoever your close peer group is, that can will not just say, hey, that looks great, but will seriously tell you the truth. You want them to be able to review everything that you have set up for conversion first off before you start marketing this, because, and this is me learning from these mistakes all over the years, is if you don't get your conversion down right first, doesn't matter how much traffic you send to it, right? Like, so for years I had my website, like it even had the wrong phone number on it, right? It had the wrong address. The links were not working. So anybody who saw that will think, well, gosh, this guy's good at digital marketing. His stuff doesn't work. Like, how embarrassing is that for your brand? So, before you start doing something, get your own house in order. So when you look at like your email list, what are you using to build up your email subscriber list?
Well, right now my page was built on Wix.
Yeah.
So I've already have with them. They just changed your web mail service. It was Arist, I think it is, or it starts with an A. Can't remember the name. I already have a database that I've been building up close to 1,000 people so far over the last 2 years.
Cool. So what when if you're going to send out an email to your entire group, what program do you use?
Wix has the same program that lets you use with I can't remember the name. I'll tell you right now. Give me a second and I'll tell you exactly the name
Is
that they
it
use.
is it Aweber?
Wait a minute. It is
There's a ton of these things,
Ascend.
right?
It's called
Okay.
Ascend.
I don't know. Okay, so I don't know what that is, but let's say you've
It's like a MailChimp, but it's designed by Wix that they use as a service that copies what MailChimp and a lot of these other mail services do.
Okay, cool. So you're going to want to evaluate is to send the right platform, and probably now is not the right time to have that conversation. But what you'll have is you'll have different groups, right? Like you'll have I don't know if you have 3 groups that you're going to choose from. You'll have, let's say, this is everybody list, right? And then you have, I don't know, call it your B list or your C list, right? Or you could call it like A1 and then A2. So your A1 are going to kind of be like your VIP clients. Anytime you come up with something super new, you only want a few people to kind of look at, or if you have something that's maybe a little bit more high profile, then you would send it to your VIP clients. And then, this would be like another segment of your group, right? So, depending on who you're selling it to, it could be like, if you work with other coaches, or another one could be like if you're doing a lot of speaking, maybe you have one specifically for meeting planners, right? You're going to come up with all these different lists, right? And so for each list, you're going to have a campaign associated with it that you're going to want to keep building, right? So when you kind of come back to here on conversion side, you're going to keep wanting to build. I forgot an L. But yeah, you're going to want to keep building up your email list, right? And then for coaching and for other services, what you're going to want to look at conversion. Okay, so what's the best way that people can schedule an appointment with me, right? Like right now, if somebody wanted to schedule an appointment with you, what does that process look like?
Well, right now, the way it is when people, every time I write a blog, I let people know that how they could contact me via email. They send me an email, I connect and I respond to them.
Yeah.
Some of them do it through WhatsApp, or they do through some of, they send me messages, and then I reconnect with them, and then I send them the information they require.
Yeah, neat. So this is a tool I use. I actually turned Lisa on to it the other day to be able to schedule appointments, right? Because what ends up happening is you go back and forth with people, can never nail down a time. And then if you're using Zoom to have these meetings, then you have to send out the link. It becomes an extra step. So you can totally simplify your scheduling of meetings to where you can schedule more meetings because it's less rework on you. And also when it's integrated with your calendar, people know that they can't schedule time when you're already busy. So the tool is called Calendly. And I'll even send that through our little participant chat here on Zoom so you can see at least what mine looks like. And it's a relatively inexpensive service, right? So especially if you're selling high ticket stuff, it totally makes sense, right? So these are the options that I have.
Okay.
I think I subscribe to the pro version of Calendly, which maybe only be like $100 a year. So it's really like nothing. So based upon what people call me about the most, like with this media interview, or they want to schedule me for speaking, let's say click on media interview for a podcast. This is actually the link that people could click on. And then they can, if you wanted to schedule a time with me, let's say today at 1:00, then that's how you would do it, right? It's integrated with my calendar, so it makes it super easy.
Wow.
So when we go back to this, as far as conversion side, we've already mentioned email. Then we have your calendar, right? So you want to look at, let's say, what are the 4 things that people will hire me for, or want to schedule a meeting for me, and then create those as individual appointment types in Calendly. And then when you go back to your blog and you start to say, so right here, I know this is going to start to get real ugly.
No problem. I'm following you.
It says blog.
The minute I get lost, I said spaghetti, I'm lost.
Yeah. Okay. So see where's like, I just keep moving my hand around blog.
Yeah.
So like for blog, like you want to have links in there to your Calendly page everywhere. You want to have links to your Calendly page inside your email campaign. You want to have links to your Calendly page inside of other communication that you put out. So, and when it's specific to other people, then you can be even more specific on the appointment type of link that you would send to that individual. So that's you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just buy the tools that are already programmed that integrate with what you already have. So that's kind of, that'll start to help you with, selling the coaching, and then also your selling of your services too, and your speeches.
No, I love this,
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing, like I use QuickBooks for my invoicing. That's just, it might cost a little bit more for, the payment processing or whatever, but at the same time, it makes it so easy that I don't have to go back and forth, and I don't have to chase money like I used to, or I have to wait for checks. And, and for my clients, it's a huge benefit too, because, they can pay right from their mobile phone using Apple Pay if they wanted to. Whereas if I try to configure that on my website, boy, it would just to get the button right, or to be able to call somebody to create the button to put it in the right place. That's another kind of benefit.
So what I'm hearing so far is, Jorge, before looking at the future, look at the present. And right now your present is redesigning your website, really getting clear what is going to be pretty much your outreach. Where do you produce content? What are your platforms? And then from there, look at how are you going to convert them. Look, at least obviously your email list is a critical one to build it. And then from there, look at how are the products and services you're going to offer. And everywhere you have an exposure or content creation piece, connect what you use as a booking or as a service that creates your calendars for appointments, bookings, or dates, or appointments. So then when all of these people look at the different products and services from either platform you're doing, call it podcast, YouTube channel, or blog, they can expedite the process by seeing it there and going and clicking. So then you could start converting more of the traffic you're generating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very good. And so start small, right? Start like, with in your house. This isn't something you want to do on your computer. But when you start, as far as like visualizing this process, this isn't something where you're going to want to find some app or tool to do some mind mapping brainstorm. This is an opportunity for you to like sticky notes. Like, I don't know if you have sticky notes that you haven't used in years. Yeah. So find a blank wall, and then when you like design your menu for your website, use the sticky notes, because then you can start to move stuff around, right? A huge sunk cost when it comes to creating a website is telling the web designer or the developer to do something again and do it again and do it again, because we need to take responsibility for really like having the design of how we want stuff mapped out first. So then that way we're not, depending on what you might pay somebody an hour to be able to help you with, you can start to see that bill going a higher if you don't like have this clearly thought out ahead of time. And
Absolutely.
so when you think about, starting small, think about what web pages do I need to have based on my biggest priority, right? Which call to actions do I need to have that are my biggest priority that I can do right now? So that might mean, making sure that you have a link for people can sign up for your email newsletter, and then also link for people to start to schedule appointments. And then when you start to look at, then once you get your house in order and you start to have your website, designed in the way you like, then you can turn it into the blog format and start writing some articles and start to see what happens, right? And then I'll show you this right here. When if I go back to, I'm gonna go back here to screen share.
Yep.
So I'm back here in my blog, and then I've got posts, and I'm gonna click add new post. So this is just like writing a new article, and I can do it right inside of here. This is the title, right? So ways to develop your online presence quickly, right? So then I can say in this discussion today with Jorge. Is that Jorge or George?
Jorge.
Okay, all right.
I
Blah,
don't
blah, blah,
mind
blah,
you
blah.
calling me George,
Right?
but the way it's written is Jorge.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just want to make sure. So this is what it might look like, right? Now, if I hit enter, now I can add in the YouTube video of what I just covered here in the discussion, right? I just copy and paste the link and put it in here. Now, if I look over here, if I go back over here to document, see where it says set featured image. This is where I can start to add in an image. So if I wanted to create one of these thumbnail images for my blog, like design ways, I use Canva, canva.com.
Yeah, I use Canva also.
Yeah, cool. So if you create a design, you probably want to look for a blog. Was it blog banner? Yeah, I think it's blog banner. And then, I already have photos of me that I kind of have in here. Let's see, as a folder. Now, one of the things with Canva I like to do is they have the ones that have no background image. So I've actually taken the time to taken out the background image for this. So let's say, I don't know, this one, right?
Yeah.
And then I can add in the text, interview with. And then once I get, you've seen this before, so I'm not gonna go through the entire thing. But then I would download the image and then save it, upload it into WordPress, right? So if I'll just choose this one for now. Set featured image. Now, when I share this on social media, or now when I publish it on my blog, this is the icon that shows up. It's not a huge question mark, so people know exactly what it looks like, and then they can kind of move on from there. So I'll tell you, like, for what it's worth, like I am not an expert on on everything. So this is where I I found somebody, right? So I've got somebody who actually helps me with this inside of Upwork. Where's that? Yeah, this guy. So if I go to my messages, I pay him $10 an hour, and literally in a week, he had the whole thing redone and SEO optimized.
Wow.
So this is the conversation I've been having with. This is the conversation I've been having with him, right? Over the last few weeks, on just making sure that I have everything that I want. If I go back here to the website itself, and let's say I click on this post, to have this set up where the email's already integrated, where this takes me to the meeting planner website to book. This is like the logo for people to buy the screen selling book, people with voice guides. Like this is, he like, I know how to do all this now just from having doing it over the years, but like like somebody you find to do it will do it for you. You just have to make it.
Oh yeah.
You have to make it super easy for them to understand what you're kind of
He's
envisioning.
like a / community manager for you in certain regards.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like, you don't have the time to figure all that out, right?
Oh yeah. I know.
Okay, what to copy is one thing, right? You need to know where to copy the link from your YouTube video.
Oh, I do. I know how to do that. I know how to copy URLs and copy links. That I'm okay with.
Where to paste it is a whole different deal, right? The embed code for your email campaign, like, okay, how do you get that set up? You gotta know what you have, so when you bring somebody on, you can shorten the amount of time that it takes to get them to help you with the end result.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh no, it's interesting. I'm here thinking that I'm going to have a conversation with you about voice, and we end up having a conversation about basic stuffs, and obviously how to reassess it and look at it from the importance. It's like one thing that I'm appreciating about this conversation is like, it's like, yeah, I am going to get there eventually where voice is going to be an integral part of where I'm heading to.
Yeah.
But right now, I gotta, I've been working on basic fundamental stuff over the last 2 years. Now that I'm gonna take the next step, I gotta really get that basis, that foundation solid. So when I wanna do outreach with technology, call it voice or video, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I have the platform or this foundation to sustain it.
Well, the voice becomes an extension, just like you added on podcast, just like you added on YouTube. It comes an access point, right? So the reason why voice is so popular right now is because it's new and it's a way to be able to differentiate yourself, and it really appeals to customers who already have it, right? There's some people who you might think have one of these but don't, for whatever reason, and privacy is still a big deal for people based upon how it's being portrayed in the media, and just the natural the way that the product is designed, right? So I think what we're going to see is there's going to be something very similar to what we just saw with COVID, where people are forced to meet screen to screen like this, where there's going to increase the adoption rate, right? And I don't know what that is. Like when I go to the grocery store right now, and I have to type in my my pin number on the keypad, like I'm a little skeptical about that, right? And you hear McDonald's where they've gotten issues where, I think somebody came and tested the screens and they found like fecal matter on the McDonald's touch screen where people would order. Like, this is real, right? This is real. Well, at what point do we say, okay, I'm not touching anything? You use technology has to be able to recognize my face or my voice and be able to talk back with me in a way that's meaningful. So I don't know what that's going to be, but I think it's great that you're thinking in the future so you can stay ahead of it.
Look, I'm 56. I said by 60, I got to have this set and done, because between 60 and 70 is going to be my best year, decade ever, even though I'm setting up now. So it's not too late to start being an entrepreneur. I'm starting it now when I was 53.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. It's a learning process. Sometimes it can be frightful, sometimes it can be scary. Obviously, I know that I'm working in the world of the unpredictable. So right now, all of this, COVID-19, yeah, I'm part of the vulnerable community because I suffer from high blood pressure, comes from the family.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of it. But beyond that, I'm not. Yes, I'm concerned because I have a father who's 90 years old, brothers and sisters that are well over 60, my mother-in-law who's 70, So I'm concerned because there's a lot of loved ones that you don't want to have them affected by the situation. But in general, I see this as a huge opportunity because I feel right now, over these last 3 weeks that I'm home most of the time because I work sporadically, but I feel more creative than ever. I've been writing. Last night I was creating a presentation I'm going to do online. Like I told you, I designed something for businesses, virtually everything online, because the problem we're going to have now is that people were trained with a specific culture of being at work. Now this culture of being at home, not everyone has this level of self-discipline or the level of self-reliance to really be effective and productive that way, number one. And number two, how are you going to, if you're not a great leader in skills, how are you going to manage people in distances using technology or holding meetings if you've been used to having death by PowerPoint or killing people with your energy in a boardroom?
You hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of the senior leaders aren't sure, or there's the perception, right? There's the perception gap in leadership between how they think things are going versus the reality. And I think I think you're starting to see it where some groups are starting to take ownership of it, and then others will find or see a decline in their performance because they weren't as effective as they were before, right? And so if you're stuck in that pattern where you think you know, your mighty position that you're in will continue to influence the way it has been in the past, there's a reality check coming, right? There's a real reality check coming, and it might not be this year, it might not be next year, but it's coming, right? So
Well,
I
I'd
think it's
say that there's two reality checks. What is already happening? Because what's the problem when you have people that are more proficient in a certain setting, and when you take them out of that setting, their proficiency changes because their skill set is more attuned or in tune with a specific setting. And now it's like they're out there. They have to start commanding their presence, their voice, their nonverbal language. How do they express? How do they impact? So many things that are happening right now because how long is it going to take to get back to normal? We don't know. And for some people, there's some businesses that could be pretty much self-reliant for a period of time, maybe 30, 60, 90 days. But there's some companies that cannot withstand a shrinking period. And if they don't have the people with the tool set and the skill set to do that now, it's like I have the right people, but now I don't have them. Why? Because their skill set is not proficient to what the reality is requesting from them. So that's one of the things that I've been working on diligently to present to all my business clients right now is how do you get proficiency in developing a different skill set in this real time now?
Yeah, cool. I'm proud of you, man. Good.
Thank you.
Good. Well,
Man, Doug, first of all, I value your generosity of your time, of your gift, of your knowledge so openly and freely. I told you since I met you that I know that I want to work with you and I want to connect with you. And I know that the first thing that I appreciate is that you're guiding me more than pushing me or pulling me towards a direction. And I think that that is, at least for me as a service provider, as a coach, right now, I think that if people feel that they're being guided more than being pulled or pushed, they're going to be more appreciative of that type of service and connection and relationship.
Yeah.
And again, I am clear that I know that voice is the future and I am headed in that direction. And I know that you're waiting for me at the train station already there. And that's one thing that I know that when I get to that train station, you're going to be there saying, okay, now it's time to get on the train where we need to get some more speed and extend. So I fully appreciate what you're doing with me today and that I could be the guinea pig for others that are beginning also right now.
Yeah, no, you're a great model, right? You're a great model for people to follow because I think they think that they can't do it themselves, right? They think that the amount of skills that are required today, there's just no way they're going to be able to catch up. And there are more skills, right? There are more technical skills that are required because if you can't connect in this medium, you're gonna be lost. So I really appreciate the courage that you have and that you will be able to pass this on to others who you work with. So, whatever.
I'm going to connect people to this video immediately. And one thing,
cool.
just for you to take, all this week, I've been doing some Facebook Lives and I've been working on Randy and I, we talked about this book. It's called The Collaborative Habit by Twyla Tharp. She's this was her second book. After she wrote The Collaborative Habit, she wrote The Creative Habit. She wrote this one about collaboration. And this is what I've been working on all this week. How valuable are to create collaborations and what are the basics and the foundations of collaboration? And I feel that this is what we're doing right now. It's a collaboration.
Total. This is a multiply. This is a media minute multiplier because of how many people, when they watch this will help them too. So I'm just grateful we were able to kind of put this together. To keep me posted on what your progress is, and we'll do another one of these in a few months to see what.
Absolutely. I hope that you stay safe, that your family also safe and sound, that you get home eventually. I know that you're like in no man's land. It's like you're having a lot of time to relax, refresh, reflect, create. But I know that there's nothing being better than being close to the ones you love. And I know how important your son is to you. So I just hope you the best. Stay safe, and we will stay in touch. I'm always following you, my friend.
Okay. Sounds true.
Great one.
Gracias, amigo.
Gracias a ti.
Take care.
Ciao.